Hello, my name is Jordan.
And my name is Allie.
And we really aren't that funny of people ourselves. However, we do find great joy in laughing at others' humor. After deep analysis, soul-searching, and research, we have decided that we will be exploring the depths of what makes a joke funny.
Simply, a joke is funny because you say something that is unorthodox or completely unreasonable in a certain situation. Too often, we hear people say things and we find ourselves laughing. But why? Why do we laugh? Why do we find joy in certain sentence structures, certain plays on words? After deep analysis, we have figured out just a few reasonings to why things are funny. And today, we will be exploring some of the most popular and recognizable jokes and explain to you why they are comical.
And first, we are going to be exploring knock-knock jokes. Hey Allie, knock-knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
Why are you crying? Knock-knock jokes are jokes that end up playing around with words that sound the same but mean something different. Therefore, in this knock-knock joke, it starts off with someone going to knock on a door at someone's house, but really that is not funny to begin a joke with. We continue the joke and the other person asks, "Who's there?" Then we put a word or phrase immediately after they ask who's there, and in this joke it happened to be boo. The person is supposed to be curious or confused about what is going to happen next. So they respond back to us asking, boo-hoo. Our next response is, why are you crying? The reason this joke is supposed to be funny is because a common terminology of someone crying is boo-hoo. It is acceptable to spell who as W-H-O because when they are asking who boo is, it sounds like they are crying. They didn't realize that they sounded like they were crying because they just wanted to know who boo was. That is why a silly and meaningless joke causes someone to laugh.
Which leads us to our next type of joke, puns. You know what, Jordan?
What, Allie?
I really love bananas.
And why is that, Allie?
I don't know, I just find them quite appealing. See, that was a pun. A pun is defined by Merriam-Webster Dictionary as a joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word or the fact that there are words that sound alike but have different meanings. My pun above was about bananas because I made the audience aware of the subject. It's funny. Bananas. It's common terminology that bananas have peels surrounding the inner fruit. The punchline at the end of the joke included the word appealing, hence a pun was made. Another example of a pun would be, hey Jordan, do you want to know what my favorite animal at the zoo is?
Sure, Allie, what's your favorite animal at the zoo?
Well, I would say that it was an elephant, but then I'd be lying. Hopefully you understood that pun. You see, the subject of the joke was zoo animals. At the end of the joke, I made a punchline on lions because the word lion, speaking in terms of the animal, sounds exactly like the word lying, speaking in terms of not telling the truth. Ultimately, puns are very important to be fluent in, as many jokes end with a pun punchline.
Another type of joke is a blonde joke, which can be very offensive to people who have blonde hair like Allie and I. There are stereotypes for blondes because people who have blonde hair are supposed to be dumb or not very smart. This stereotype only goes for women, which is not accurate because blonde women can actually be very successful in life. An example of a blonde joke is, Allie, why do blondes wear their hair up?
Wow, Jordan, that's a tough one. Why?
To catch everything that goes over their heads. This joke is funny because it is showing how people with blonde hair are not always bright. Like I said before, it can be offensive to people with blonde hair because not every blonde is dumb, just like not every brunette is smart. To make a blonde joke is really easy because all you have to do is think of something stupid or ditzy someone would say or do and make a joke out of it.
Another type of joke that may or may not be received as funny to your audience, but we feel is important for you to understand, are anti-jokes. An example of an anti-joke is, hey Jordan, why did Sally fall off the swing?
I don't really know. Why?
It's because she didn't have any arms. There was an example of an anti-joke. They are funny because your audience is expecting to hear a light-hearted, funny punchline, and instead, they hear something that is completely not funny at all. It is so unexpected to your audience that, most likely, they will think that it is funny. Like I said before, some people may not receive these types of jokes as comical because oftentimes they can be offensive. In order to be successful when telling these anti-jokes, you must be aware of your audience. Make sure that they don't get offended easily or that they know somebody without any arms. If you still want to tell an anti-joke, but you are afraid to offend people, you can always use the good old, "Hey Jordan, what's red and smells like blue paint?"
Gosh, Allie, I have no idea.
Red paint. See, there's another type of anti-joke that's not offensive, unless of course you're talking to red paint.
The next kind of joke we are going to talk about is question and answer jokes. This is simply a joke that someone asks another person a question and the other person tries to answer in the best of their ability. An example of a question and answer joke is, "Hey Allie, what do you call a boomerang that won't come back?"
Gee, Jordan, I have absolutely no idea.
A stick! This joke is comical because people will usually think that there is a certain terminology for a boomerang that won't come back. But in reality, I was talking about a stick because when you throw a stick, it won't ever come back. Question and answer jokes are very easy to make up because all someone has to do is ask another person a question and have an answer ready that makes the joke funny and will get someone to laugh.
You know what, Jordan? We have yet to touch on a type of joke that's actually really popular. Offensive jokes. And one of the most popular types of offensive jokes are your mama jokes. Your mama jokes can be used in two ways. In one way, they can be used as a phrase used as a formal declaration of defeat. For example, Kenneth replied, "Yo mama," when he realized he could not counter his opponent's point. Or your mama jokes can be used as jokes in themselves. To execute a your mama joke, you must say, "Your mama is so blank," and you add an adjective in that blank. The more offensive the adjective, the funnier the joke. Next, you add in a hyperbole, something that is completely outrageous that would enhance the adjective you chose. Here's an example of a your mama joke. "Hey Jordan, your mama is so old, she has an autographed Bible." You see, this joke is funny because if your mom actually had an autographed Bible, she would be dead by now. It's funny because it's just simply outrageous. Now, you have to be careful when you say these jokes because some people can be offended by them. You shouldn't actually use these jokes if you do indeed actually mean it, because that takes the comedy out of it. Also, these jokes will only be successful if your opponent is willing to hit you with another your mama joke. Otherwise, you just kind of sound like a jerk.
We hope that this podcast was somewhat helpful to your endeavors in understanding and/or telling jokes. The ability to joke, laugh at jokes, understand jokes, and take a joke all set adjacent to the ability to be successful in social situations.
So remember, keep laughing!